Hello, friends you can trust, gamers. This is Urak, your friendly neighborhood shaman man. Um, hey, today I snuck into Hajal, which you can still do if you didn't know, but there is in-game the original version of Hajal, which, as you know, is turned into an instance in TBC. So I went through it today, just trying to like look at old, spots and fights and what's what in here. Just to explain to you, what in original TBC was considered like. I mean, this fight was like a guild killer, man. Like the original version one of Archimonde was like it was just insane. I don't know how anybody ever beat it because I never beat it. We beat version two in my guild back then, but never version one. So it took us about 3 months, and then we beat version two. Like I think it was like in 2 weeks. So we wiped on version one. We beat version two in about a week or so, and I don't know which version they're going to release in TBC. I don't think anybody necessarily does. I don't, somebody could go through the logs and figure it out, but they did a lot of tuning points on original Archimond, who was, oh my god, dude. Anyway, so as I ran through the instance, and this instance is kind of cool. It's huge. It's outdoor. It's kind of like AQ. So it takes you a long time to get from one end to the other. It's also very linear. As you can see, there's a path that goes through like the entire instance. And unlike AQ, you don't take rights and lefts. You basically just follow the path through the entire instance. Good thing about that is it's impossible to get lost. The bad part about it is that if you do actually wipe on Archimonde and everybody has to run back, it's about a 10-12 minute run back from what I remember. Um, it's a long run every wipe. So in the first part of Hajal, um, it's essentially a gauntlet. Like the first part of Hajal is very different once you get up to this hill. So it's basically a gauntlet the entire time. I think you get like 2 or 3 boss fights in a row, and then there is actually a vendor in the middle of the instance, from what I remember. But as you can see here, the terrain that you'll see in TBC is a lot different. So this is all like this is after Hajal blew everything up, or I'm sorry, after Archimonde blew everything up. And in TBC, the whole point is your goal is to go back and fight Archimonde before he blows everything up. So you go through the caverns of time, you come back, and everything here is still intact. Um, as you can see up here, like there's like these are like guard towers, and like there's a ton of like NPCs inside of here that will like help you during fights. Because it's like mass AoE and it's just like non-stop. Like you don't get mana breaks. Like you just have to have the regen, etc., etc. But anyway, up until like right here, it's essentially like a gauntlet, like the whole way through. Like you almost never stop fighting, which is cool because there's not like a bunch of dumbass trash pulls and whatnot. It's just like you're playing the game like non-stop once you come inside. So anyway, what is cool is that the original boss fight spot for Archimon, like all of this, as far as I can remember, is identical. So you come in here and you're up on this hill and you're at the top of the mountain basically, and this is Yggdrasil, the world tree. You see there's this big funny thing on it. And then Archimond will be patrolling like right behind it in that field back there. So again, we have to run down the hill here. So you'll have to do this run. This will be like the end of the 10-minute run if you wipe coming back in here. Hopefully you had a warlock with a soul, or somebody with a soul stone that can res a warlock and summon everybody back. But that doesn't always happen. So a waterfall here. Um, this down here is the staging area. And as you come up here, you'll see Sargeras patrolling over. I'm sorry, Archimonde patrolling over there on the left. He'll be in that field. And then usually we would stage and buff right here. One little thing I want to show you. It's kind of funny. People talk that you can get banned for coming in here, but you can't. You just have to climb a mountain for an hour. But obviously, that says Blizzard Construction Company. It's the end of the road. Get it? Haha. Little Easter egg. Okay, so Sargeras will be, I'm sorry, Archimonde will be walking around here. And this is your staging area. So the whole trick on the pull, it's not a tough pull. It is a lot like C-Thun, but instead of a full circle, like around here, you'll just be dealing with like here to here. Okay, so imagine two half circles. The first inner half circle is basically the melee, and the outer half circle is range DPS and healers. Okay. Healers, I'm telling you now, remember this tree. This tree will kill you. And I'll explain why. This log, not this tree, this log. Okay, so essentially what you do is you wait for Archimonde to patrol somewhere in this area, and then the main tank runs in, grabs them. It's not like a super complicated pull. You just start tanking them. There'll be like two healers over here, and then two healers have to get here, and then there's a far group that has to come over here. All melee needs to form like a semicircle about right here. You need to be at max range from the boss, but like still within range of whatever healer is on your side. So it's kind of like KT. So like there's one group, two groups, three groups. And it just depends on what your raid setup is. But there's two main things that kill you in this fight. So one of them is, so Archimonde will be here, and what he does is it seems to be like fives. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what he does is he sends out, I think it's called like Corrupted Earth or Corruption of Earth or something like that. But it's basically like it turns the ground into fire, black fire. And it starts at him and it spreads out really fast. So you don't get a lot of time to react to it. So as melee, what you want to do, I don't honestly know how they picked it up. I think they watch his cast bar, and I think you're always going to take like a hit, at least one tick of it, but you need to like, as melee, get over here, so move to position 2. Or if you're in position 2, maybe you need to move to position 3, because it's like a funnel. It starts out like as one little dot on the ground, and it just grows and it spreads and it runs back here. And all the healers that are back here, they need to like, so you'll be sitting here healing the tank, healing the tank, healing the tank, and then you'll see Corrupted Earth coming out of here. You need to instantly 180 turn and run. No more heals for you. Maybe a hot and run, because it'll come out to about here, and you have to basically learn. You can see the edge of this here, so it basically comes all the way out here. And then once it's down, then you go back in, and then you start healing your tank and melee again. Okay, so melee is in here. Healers originally are about here. And then when they see the Corrupted Earth, they instantly need to 180 turn and run. And I think it ends, yeah, somewhere around like here. So in original Archimonde, that stuff would one-shot you. If you got hit by it at all, you were dead. So I think some of the people that actually beat version 1, what they did was they had no melee in the group. It was just like all mages, warlocks, and shadow priests and hunters. Obviously that's not super cool in terms of Melee enjoying the game, but I think that's how they beat it. Version 2, they gave you a little bit more reaction time, so what they did was they nerfed the rate that this thing expanded, which gave melee and healers just a little bit more time to react. They eventually nerfed the shit out of it, and it was like, it moved super slow and it did no damage, so like it made the fight trivial. In original, I was a hunter, so I always stood over here. So that was mechanic 1 of this fight. Mechanic 2 is for the range only. So what Archimonde will do to range is he will throw you straight up in the air, and you take damage when you go up into the air. And if you don't have a health pot or a tuber or a health stone on cooldown, you will die when you hit the ground. Because once you hit the ground, it'll do more damage than anybody has health in the game. So it's like a tuning point. So you go in the air, you take, I don't know, maybe like 6,000 damage when you get hit. You fly in the air. While you're in the air, you need to heal yourself. If you cannot do that, you will not beat this fight. Because every person that dies heals him for like some insane amount of damage. Like every person that dies, if one person dies, it's basically a wipe. Like you're not going to really beat the timer until you've outgeared the fight. You know, until your DPS is so much better than the fight. Like one person dying, he like drains your soul or some shit and he heals himself. Um, yeah, that's basically it. So like as range, you need to have like at least 3 separate cooldowns of self-healing because the healers are not going to heal you. You have to keep yourself alive. So yeah, your healing pots and your tubers, and then when you hit the ground, you always bandage yourself. You need to keep yourself, not the healers that's standing near you. They'll heal you if they can, but their main priority is healing the tank down here. Because as many as 3 or 4 of the other healers might be running away. And I was talking about that log earlier. This log, this one's the priest killer. So usually there's a priest like right in this area. So the stuff starts coming at you and you turn and run. You're dead. You're dead. Any questions? I'll be happy to explain.